Get ready for a thrilling ride as we dive into the world's biggest heist, a daring crime that unfolded in just 81 minutes. What drove these masterminds to pull off the impossible, and how did they manage to escape with millions? Join us as we unravel the intricate details of this record-breaking robbery and explore the motives behind this daring crime. From the planning stages to the getaway, we'll take you through every twist and turn of this real-life heist that will leave you on the edge of your seat. In 1990, two thieves disguised as police officers pulled off the most daring art heist in history, stealing $500 million worth of art from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Decades later, the mystery remains unsolved. Explore the shocking details of this legendary heist and the hunt for the missing masterpieces. So, buckle up and let's dive into the world's biggest heist in 81 minutes. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist, the greatest art theft in history.
In the dead of night on March 18, 1990, while Boston was still immersed in the festivities of St. Patrick's Day, two men disguised as police officers walked into the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Within 81 minutes, they pulled off what remains one of the most infamous heists in history, making off with 13 pieces of art valued at over $500 million. Over 3 decades later, the mystery of the missing masterpieces remains unsolved, captivating the imaginations of investigators, art lovers, and conspiracy theorists alike. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, housed in a beautiful Venetian-style building, was not just a gallery but the manifestation of one woman's love for art. Isabella Stewart Gardner, a wealthy patron of the arts, carefully curated the collection herself. She left explicit instructions that the museum's arrangement should never be altered. Walking into the museum today feels like stepping back in time, as everything remains as it was, save for the haunting absence of the stolen pieces. The stolen artworks included pieces by Vermeer, Rembrandt, and Degas masters whose works are irreplaceable. Among the most notable was Rembrandt's The Storm on the Sea of Galilee, his only known seascape, and Vermeer's The Concert, a painting considered one of the most valuable stolen works of art in history. At 1:24 a.m. a buzzer sounded at the museum's employee entrance. Two men, dressed in Boston police uniforms, claimed they were responding to a disturbance. The museum's security guards, who were inexperienced and unarmed, let the men inside. What followed was almost cinematic. The fake officers quickly overpowered the guards, handcuffed them, and secured them in the museum's basement. They then made their way through the museum, methodically selecting the pieces they would steal. Oddly, they ignored some of the most valuable works in the collection, opting instead for a seemingly random assortment of paintings, sketches, and artifacts. The thieves cut several paintings from their frames, an act considered sacrilegious in the art world. The frames remain empty to this day, serving as eerie reminders of the museum's loss. Despite the crude methods, the thieves appeared calm and confident, as though they knew exactly what they were doing. By 2:45 a.m. they were gone. When staff arrived the next morning, they found the guards still bound in the basement and the museum in disarray. The crime scene offered few clues. Security cameras had been turned off, and no motion detectors captured the thieves once they entered the galleries. Investigators were baffled. Why did the thieves take some pieces and leave others? Why had they stolen relatively obscure works like a Chinese bronze coup and a Napoleonic flag? Most puzzling of all, why had they left without taking the museum's most valuable painting, Titian's The Rape of Europa, which hung prominently in another gallery over the years? Numerous theories about the heist have emerged. Some believe it was the work of professional art thieves commissioned by a private collector. Others suggest it was a crime orchestrated by organized crime groups, potentially as collateral for other deals. One of the most prominent suspects was Miles Connor, a notorious art thief who had a history of stealing masterpieces. However, Connor was in prison at the time of the heist, though he later claimed to know who was responsible. Another lead pointed to local criminals, including Robert "Bobby" Donati and David Houghton. Both men were associated with the Boston underworld and reportedly had connections to stolen art. Donati, who was murdered in 1991, allegedly hinted at his involvement in the heist before his death. Despite multiple promising leads, no arrests were ever made, and the stolen works have never been recovered. The fate of the stolen masterpieces is one of the greatest mysteries in the art world. Some believe the paintings are hidden in a private collection, locked away where they will never be seen again. Others speculate that they may have been destroyed, either accidentally or intentionally, to cover the thieves' tracks. In 2013, the FBI announced that they believed they had identified the thieves, but the statute of limitations for prosecuting the theft had expired. While the individuals could not be charged for the crime itself, they could still face consequences for possessing or selling the stolen art. Despite this breakthrough, the identities of the thieves were never publicly revealed, and the investigation remains open. One of the most haunting aspects of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum is the decision to leave the empty frames of the stolen paintings on display. Visitors to the museum can see the empty spaces where the masterpieces once hung, a poignant reminder of what was lost. The museum has offered a $10 million reward for information leading to the recovery of the stolen art, but so far, no credible leads have emerged. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist is more than just a crime story, it's a tale of human ambition, greed, and mystery. The audacity of the thieves, the scale of the theft, and the sheer cultural loss make it a story that continues to resonate. For investigators, it's the ultimate puzzle, a crime with no witnesses, no fingerprints, and no clear motive. For art lovers, it's a tragedy, a loss of beauty and history that can never be fully replaced. For everyone else, it's a story that feels like something out of a movie, with twists and turns that keep people guessing. Despite the passage of time, there is still hope that the stolen art might one day be recovered. History has shown that stolen masterpieces can resurface decades after their disappearance. In 2016, for example, 2 stolen Van Gogh paintings were recovered in Italy, 14 years after they were taken. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum remains steadfast in its commitment to finding the missing works. Every year, the museum marks the anniversary of the heist with renewed appeals for information. As the years pass, the heist has taken on a mythical quality. It's a story that continues to inspire books, documentaries, and even Hollywood films. But for the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, it's a story of loss and longing, a reminder of the fragility of human achievement and the enduring allure of the unknown. Until the day the stolen masterpieces are returned, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist will remain one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of all time. And perhaps that's part of its appeal. In a world that often demands answers, this is a story that defies explanation, a tale of secrets, stolen in the night, and a mystery that